Okay, so ethical basically means what's right and wrong, so your morals, so not being biased, showing favouritism to one of your performers might show that you're unethical. Then working legally is like within the law, so if you was to use some like drugs to enhance one of your performances, then that would be illegal. There's 4 C's to sort of go by that are provided by like bases, so conduct, so like the list of rules that you should and shouldn't do, consent, so if you was to run like a VO2 max test on some of your performers, you'd need their consent to do so, especially like within children because they might need their parents' consent. And then confidentiality, so some things might become like a sort of touchy subject, so you need to know that, like, they need to know that you're not going to share their results. And competence, so if you used to take something like lactate samples, then obviously you need to be trained and know how to do so. Consequences if you're a scenario could be addressing the issue of punishment in sport. So, for example, making a performer do like 20 press-ups if they miss a shot in basketball or football or something like that. I think age matters a lot in this scenario because if you're going to punish a 5-year-old for missing a shot over and over again, it's going to demoralise them and perhaps embarrass them. Whereas if you was to do it to a more elite performer, they obviously will take it better and perhaps work on it, and they won't be so easily put off of the sport. One of the C's that I mentioned is competence. Therefore, if a coach wants to carry out a test like the VO2 max and take like lactate samples, then the person who's taken the lactate sample should have a high competence. Therefore, they should have been trained or taught to do so. Without this competence, you could cause physical harm to some of the participants. Another scenario could be that a coach notices a lack of performance in one of his gymnasts. Following this, he provides her with performance-enhancing drugs. These are stated as illegal and therefore is going against the code of conduct. Another would be addressing the issue of obesity in sport. So a lot of people argue if this is right or wrong. I think obviously it's important to address the issue. However, keeping results anonymous and stuff due to confidentiality and consent rights is vital in order to not like embarrass or discriminate against anybody. Questions can be asked about like the strength and the extent of relationship between a coach and their performers. So I think it's important to develop like a strong bond for reasons such as trust with a whole group, but for instance, starting like an intimate or discreet relationship with one member can show signs of like favouritism, or you can be biased and stuff like that. Therefore, it's unethical. It's obviously not very professional, and in some cases can even be classed as illegal.